if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. I hope everybody is doing well and staying safe. So today's video, as you guys can already tell, we are going to be doing the review of the Wet and Wild Dewy foundation. Now this is the range that they added to their photo focus collection, and this is the Dewy foundation. Now they did come out with the matte range, so this is the Dewy Illuminating Foundation. So my job for today is to review this foundation, give you my thoughts and honest opinions about it, and see how well it goes on this face, because guys, you can see how much of scars I have, and you know I battle every day to cover up these bad scars. So we're going to be testing this out. Just off the back, I'm going to be reading what it says. It claims to be hydrating and it smooths the complexion for a luminous finish, and it's a buildable coverage for normal to dry skin, and they say you gotta shake it really well. So I have the color Caramel Medium Deep, that's my shade. In the matte foundation range, I have to actually get Golden Beige and Toffee, and I combine those two shades to make my correct shade. Caramel is slightly darker than my normal skin color, but it's okay, we can work with it. If it was like 2 or 3 shades darker, then definitely I would have not chose to do this video today, but I'm going to be going in with Caramel. So basically the first thing they say is to shake the bottle. I'm just going to give it a little bit of shake, shake, shake what your mama gave you. And I'm going to be reviewing this on my face. I'm going to be using a beauty blender on the left side of my face, and I'm going to be using a brush on the right side of my face. So let's get started. I took out my Bourjois primer, my Happy Light Base primer. As you guys can see, this bad boy is almost done. So I'm pretty sure that this is a mattifying primer. Yes, it is. It's a mattifying primer. I'm not going to be using this because we want this foundation to really show its results. So I'm going to be going in with my Panthelon Moisture Cream, and I'm going to be applying this to my face. Reason being, this is hydrating and it has that glowy finish. Even if you are not using foundation, this moisturizer is actually very good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just blend this and make it sink into my skin. Yes, if you guys are looking at this finger, I jammed my finger in the door of the car, so it's a blood clot or whatever you call it, but it wouldn't seem to disappear, so I just gotta deal with it until it automatically disappears. Okay, let's move along and let's do what we came here for, and we are going to be applying the foundation. So I'm just going to take the foundation and I'm going to be applying this foundation to the left side of my face to blend it out with the beauty blender. Firstly guys, let's look at the consistency. It has your little spatula right here, and the consistency is pretty much a thin consistency. I'm not gonna lie, the mattifying foundation as well is very liquidy. So when you apply this foundation, just make sure that you have enough on the spatula to apply it to your face, or do a little at the back of your hand and then apply it to your face, because previously with the mattifying foundation I messed a good top. So we don't want any mishaps when we're applying foundations, especially with the spatula. So I'm just going to put this all over the left side of my face. And with a damp beauty blender, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be blending out this foundation. So guys, off the bat, I can tell you right now, it claims to say that it's a buildable coverage. So indeed it capped to that, because I can still see some of my marks on my cheek area right here. However, the forehead, it did cover really well. I'm not too, how can I say, I'm not too worried about the marks showing, because we are going to go in with concealer and we are going to cover up those bad boys with some concealer. But guys, can you see the difference between my natural face and where I applied just one layer of this Wet n Wild foundation? It truly is dewy, I'm not gonna lie about that. If you guys can see, it has that shine to it, and it's really giving me vibes right now. It's so thin, it's like your second layer of skin. It feels like skin. It doesn't feel thick and heavy. It doesn't have a strong fragrance smell to it. It actually gave me a good amount of coverage. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it gave me a decent amount. I really like it compared to what my face is without any foundations to what this foundation is. I think this foundation will be ideal for a daily base, like if you have to use it on a daily base. That's what I'm trying to say. If you have to use it on a daily base, you're really going to get good coverage. And we're going to test how well this foundation wears. Right now it's about 12:41, and we're going to leave this foundation on after I complete my whole face, obviously, and we're going to come back and we're going to see how it wears. I'm going to be doing the right side of my face with a foundation brush, so I'm just going to be applying it. So guys, I'm going to be going in with my foundation brush and I'm going to be blending out the right side of my face, and we're going to see how well this foundation blends out with a foundation brush. Okay, so off the bat, I can tell you right now, when you do use a foundation brush, maybe it's just my foundation brush that needs to be washed again, but I can see some fine streaks that is left over from the brush, and yeah, I think that's the only negative comment I can give towards this foundation. It blended out the foundation really well. Again, not the full coverage that I expected, but the brush did a decent coverage, guys, and I think it looks really nice. It doesn't look different from what the beauty blender does, but it does offer a bit more coverage than what the beauty blender does, maybe because the beauty blender absorbs some of the products, where the brush just like blends out everything and it sits on the face. But both sides are looking really well. I don't have any bad complaints, except for if you're using a brush, try and use a fine bristle brush so you won't end up with this lines and streaks on your face. But other than that, guys, this foundation really is like the bomb.com. It's thin, it's light, it gave me the coverage that I'm looking for. I'm just going to allow the right side of my face to dry, and then we shall move on with concealer. Other than that, I really like the way this foundation stays. It's like very glowy, and the last thing we need is our foundation turning matte towards the end of the day. But when we apply powder, we shall see how it wears with the powder as well, because powder is for mattifying your face. So when we go in with powder, we shall see how this entire foundation set. So I'm going to go along now, and I'm going to be applying my concealer, and we are using the Revlon Color Stay concealer, and this is in the shade 055 in chestnut. It's like my skin color and it offers amazing coverage. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to be applying this to my T-zone area and underneath my eyes, just to give me that extra coverage that I need. Okay, so moving along, we're going to go ahead and we're going to be setting this concealer. I'm going to be using my Bourjois Healthy Balance Mattifying 10-Hour All-Day Powder Foundation, and this is in the shade Vanilla. Now, I am using a pressed powder, not a loose powder, because I don't want to powder my entire face, because we'll be making this entire look turn matte, and that's what we're not here for. That's what we're here for, but not making this entire look turn matte. So I'm just going to set underneath my eyes wherever I apply that concealer, just so we don't get some creasing underneath the eyes. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of setting around the mouth area and as well as the forehead, because I do have a crease running along here, and whatever product I put, especially cream product, it goes there and it gets stuck in that line. So yeah, I did have fillers in my forehead, and I think the fillers were out, so she's back. She's back to stay. Okay guys, so I think that's basically how I'm going to be leaving the powder, because I don't want to apply it everywhere. But still guys, although I went in with the powder and I set all of that concealer, you still can see some shine through it, which I think is really nice, because after applying concealer and then powder, some of the foundations lose their dewiness when you apply other products over it. But this foundation right here, as you guys can see, it's giving me life right now. It is super dewy and I love it. And even when I touch my face, it does not, like, there's nothing on my hand. Honestly, there's nothing on my hand. I'm just gonna go ahead and wherever I didn't set with the powder, I'm gonna put some setting spray. And for setting spray, I'm going to be using the setting spray by Scarlet Hill. Just gonna do a light mist because I want my entire face to set really well. Okay, now that the setting spray has finally dried up, guys, after applying the setting spray, I can tell you this right off the back. This foundation is still staying dewy. It is not moving, it is not getting dull, it is actually staying very dewy, as you guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bronze up my face. For bronze, I'm going to be using the Wet&Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder in Dark Cafe, and I'm going to be just lightly bronzing up my face. And then switching over to this dual-ended brush that I used earlier on to set the powder by Freedom Makeup, I'm going to be using the angled side, and I'm just going to sculpt out my face a bit more because I feel like normal bronzing up didn't really do the job. So I'm just going to like define certain areas of my face. Okay, so this is basically how I bronze up my face when I use powder. I don't really use cream all the time because who has time to sit here and blend for 10 hours? Not me. So this is my face bronzed up. I'm going to be going ahead and applying blush. So for blush, I'm going to be using my all-time favorites by Wet&Wild, and this is in the shade Mellow Wine. This is the Color Icon blush. I'm just going to apply some blush. So I'm going to be going back with my beauty blender and I'm just going to press everything into my skin. And for the last part, which is my favorite part, is highlighting. I'm going to be going in with Precious Petals by Wet&Wild, my all-time favorite highlighter, and I'm just quickly going to highlight my face. And I'm going to be highlighting my nose as well. Then I'm going to be taking that damp beauty blender again and just blending that highlighter in because we don't want it too harsh. Okay guys, so this is basically how the foundation is on my skin. Yes, it does look a shade darker. Maybe I should have went in with a lighter concealer, but this will do for now. We're trying to keep everything as natural as possible. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and apply a little bit powder just to set and brighten underneath the eyes, because when you bronze up and you add blush and all of that, sometimes you tend to lose that brightening effect from underneath the eye and around your T-zone. So I'm just quickly going to brighten up my face. Okay beauty babes, so this is the face done and dusted. I am not going to be going in with any setting spray, because I did apply setting spray when I was setting the entire concealer, powder and foundation. I don't think the setting spray would actually work well. If I have to go over this, it might dull everything up. But this is the way the foundation is playing out. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to complete my eye look and I will be back to see you guys on the other side. So for our lips, today we're going to go in with my second favorite combo that I've been using for, I can't even remember how long. This is the Essence Color Boost Mad About Matte in the shade 01 Dusty Romance, and my LA Girl Chocolate Lip Liner. Ultimate favorite, by the way. Before, I should use a brand called Professional Makeup, and that was my favorite chocolate lip liner to line my lips because I always like to contour before applying a nude lipstick. Now this is my favorite liner. So I'm just going to go ahead, grab a mirror right here, and I'm going to be outlining my lips to fill them in with the lipstick. And now it's time for the lipstick, and I'm going to be applying my lipstick. Okay, beauty babes, we have reached the end of this video right here. As you guys can see, the lipstick has dried down and became matte. But let's talk about the foundation. So this foundation right here, I have to give it an 8 out of 10. And the reason why I am giving this foundation an 8 out of 10 is because number one, I love the way it gave me a flawless finish. As you guys can see, I have a nice flawless finish and it just made my face so dewy and shiny. And even after applying all of my makeup and going in and setting it with a setting spray and doing my eye makeup, touching my face because I had to apply some kajal to my waterline, I did not get any foundation moving or fading away. This foundation stayed in place. Normally, if I have to touch my face and I didn't powder the entire face, I would get foundation on my hands. But with this foundation, I didn't have to worry because it stayed in place. It did dry down a bit of a matte finish, so it's like a semi-matte, but it still kept the shine. It's still dewy, it's still glowy, it's still amazing, it's still going strong. This is 3 hours of me using the foundation. Now it is 3 o'clock and it is 3 hours of me using this foundation, and I'm really blown away with how this foundation turned out. I have to say that when I applied this foundation, I should have went in with 2 layers to give me a bit of coverage, but I'm not mad about it. It's fine. It's just that I would have, next time when I do my foundation, I will go in with 2 layers just to give me an extra coverage, because I can see some of my dark scars underneath this foundation, but it's nothing too bad. If you guys look at my face right now, you wouldn't even think that I have scars on my face because this foundation kept everything flawless. So I'm blown away with how this foundation turned out. I love the way the entire look turned out, and that is it. I don't have anything bad to say about this foundation. If you are someone that's in the market looking for a daily foundation, this is your guy. This is what you should be picking right now, and it's super cheap. I believe it's 99 Rand to 110 Rand, and you are not going to be disheartened with this foundation. If you have normal skin and you apply this foundation, your face is, I can't even think how flawless your face is going to be looking. It's going to be looking superb. If you do have oily skin, make sure that you prime your face with a mattifying primer well before applying this foundation. And if you have dry skin, then this is the answer to your problems. You are going to enjoy this foundation because it'll keep your skin hydrated. As you guys know, I have a problem where foundations normally crack at my smile line and it goes into my forehead line, my frown lines, and it sits there. But this foundation did not do that. I even took a little break and I drank some water, and this foundation did not move. I am blown away. and I'm really happy with the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell as well if you want to tune in and be updated on every makeup item. I know there's thousands of people that are doing this, but I'm here just trying to help you guys and from my knowledge to you. So I love you guys so much. Don't forget to take care of each other and stay safe until we meet again.